Seven Nation Army couldn't hold me back.
Welcome to the Heat versus the World podcast.
And
now, stand up and make some noise for your host, Joel Jacob.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of the Heat vs. the World podcast. Like always, I'm your host, Joel Jacob, and with me, I got my guy, Alex and Kay. And I know it's been a while. I had a couple things to take care of behind the scenes. Thank y'all for your patience. But we are back with another episode, and I see a lot of people are kind of down right now. And I understand, because in case y'all missed it, the Heat got whooped by Dallas. And it's one thing when y'all lose, but to lose to Dallas of all teams, you know, I know everyone pissed with them. There's the whole rivalry going back to all these finals matchups in the past, blah, blah, blah. Y'all know how it goes. We got blown out. And it sucks because I ain't gonna lie. I get a little frustrated with this stuff because it's not even the fact that we lost to them, but you look at how this playoff picture has looked. Because if y'all have kept up with some of the earlier episodes, I made it clear that I really wanted the Heat to get the 6th seed. I felt like that was the dream scenario for the Heat, but everything started going, completely different. Like you got the fact that we lost to Philadelphia, then we go out and we lose to Indiana thanks to terrible calls by the refs. Although at the same time, we probably shouldn't have been down by 20 in the first place. But even then, bro, to have those terrible calls, whether if it was them not calling that the no call where Tyler gets hit on the arm by TJ McConnell. I'm sorry, I don't know these scrubs' names like that. But you got that whole thing with him. Then you have the one foul on the other end where they called it on the Heat, even though we clearly stole the ball from them without any foul whatsoever. It was a terrible game to say the very least. And, you go into this game last night against, Dallas. And I knew we were going to be tired because in case y'all missed the game before that, the game against Atlanta where, we went to double overtime against them. It's one thing to be in a situation where you're playing overtime in a game on the first night of a back-to-back, let me put it. But on, like I said, the first night of a back-to-back, bro. And it was double overtime too. Like, that was the thing that was making me sweat more during that game. Because it's like, not only can we win this game, but how much energy are we going to have left for this game against Dallas? And it was tough to watch last night. And I'll say it how it is, man. Like we got to call it how we see it. And Jimmy and Bam didn't exactly have their best performances last night. And when your two best players aren't doing their thing, there's only how far this team can go. And yeah, I mean, I really don't know. We're still in the hunt for the 6th seed. We still have a chance for the 5 seed, according to the NBA playoff thingy, whatever they got on social media right now. So it's not over for the Heat just yet as to where they can end up. But, there's a lot of question marks right now. I just simply hope that they can get it together by the time the playoffs come or the play-in, because I know everyone doesn't want to try to be like too optimistic in the fact that they can just, immediately pull what they did in 2023 all over again. Because when you look at what they did last year, some people view it as nothing more but lightning in a bottle. But I mean, shoot, I believe it. I believe in Jimmy. I believe in Bam. I believe in Eric Spoelstra. I know everyone's been kind of frustrated, and rightfully so. But let's not jump over the ledge just yet. I think there's a lot more hoops to be left played. I really need Terry Rozier and Duncan to come back. I know Terry is questionable for this upcoming game against Toronto. They already listed Duncan as out, so there's that. But we still got some time. So I'm hopeful. and we just got to go from there with it. But Alex, I want to hear from you, man. Like, can you make some sense out of everything that's been going on lately?
What's up, y'all? A lot of stuff don't make sense, to be totally honest. But like you said, I'll try and make a little bit of sense of it. As you can see, I still have 2023 on repeat under my name because honestly, I feel like the loss yesterday, how we lost yesterday, I had the same exact vibes to what we had last year, where heading into the playoffs or the play in, it seemed like the best thing for the team was to be just put out of our misery so that the front office would make changes to a team that should have been made changes to the off season before, in my opinion. So with that being said, like like you kind of sort of mentioned, they have earned some grace from me because of the fact of what they did last year. Other than the playoff run that shall not be named, during this Jimmy Butler era, every single time that calendar has turned and those playoffs have started, Jimmy Butler has elevated his game. So that being said, I feel like until he doesn't do that and until we don't see that happen, until we do get put out of our misery, then anything's possible. Do I believe it's going to happen? No, because lightning usually doesn't strike the same place twice, especially in regards to this going from a play in to making a deep run. I don't expect that to happen two times in a row, but I mean, anything's possible. That's all I got right now.
Right. And I'll say this, man. I mean, I don't know if this is just something that he picked up on, just I've said this in so many pods in the past. Like, this is a squad that's just following Jimmy's lead and they're just trolling in the regular season. And then when it's time for the playoffs, they flip the switch like he does. And, we go from there with it. And for the sake of my sanity, I'm going to say that's exactly the case because, I mean, shoot, everyone's been getting somewhat of the blame this year. I mean, it's not even like, oh, Jimmy's trolling, but we've seen Bam have some off games here and there. You've seen the injury bug bite us like crazy this year. And you know what? I'm gonna ask you guys this question. And you guys can mention it when you guys bring up your takes. So okay, you can answer this first when I pass the mic to you. I just want to know, like, do y'all think the injury bug has bitten this team worse this year or last year? Like, where do you think we were struck the most? Because I know everyone talks about how, oh, we always go through the injury bug, but I don't know, bro. Like, it seems like this year especially, and I know last year specifically in the playoffs, we was really going through it. Whether if it was Victor missing remainder of the postseason when he got hurt in that series against the Bucks, and the same thing with Tyler, but I mean, before that, I mean, I don't think we was really going through it the way how we was this year because I mean, we've all made the claim that Tyler's injury prone, but like it wasn't to the point where the dude only played 40 games for us last year. So you got that to mention, and then you have the fact that he's missed some time, Jimmy's missed time, and that's the reason why he won't be able to make All NBA this year. All this other stuff going on left and right, and it's just been a whole mess. You have the fact that now Jay Rich is going to be out for the season. That was the guy that we was kind of hopeful for to be that. I guess you could say that Gabe Vincent type of replacement. When we first signed him, so you have that to look at. But overall, man, it's been all types of stuff left and right. But I'm just saying this, like even Eric Spoelstra, I've seen the criticism he's gotten too. So all I can really say is that this team right here, they trolling, and I'm only saying this because, like I said before, I don't want to like lose my mind over the squad. So they're trolling, y'all. They don't want everyone to see what they have in the tank because they know they're gonna plan for it ahead of time. So they said, let's act like we don't know how to play. Let's act like we got CTE. And when it's time for the playoffs, we'll take that mask off. show everyone that we don't have CTE, and play basketball the way how we know how to, and everything will be good again. Maybe I'm delusional. I don't care. That's just how I want to look at stuff, and y'all can't tell me otherwise. Kay, what about you?
Um, Here's the thing, man. Alex really said everything I would normally say, honestly. And you added on to it by saying that um you have to look at the Miami Heat as a team that is going to do what Jimmy Butler does, because I mean every team in any sport follows their leader. Um so if your leader on the floor is Jimmy Butler, I mean, there's a little bit of that too. I'm not giving them any excuse as much as like acknowledging what I'm observing. So, I mean, to Alex's point, until they don't show you, you know, that they're capable, which they have 3 or 4 years. I mean, and people want to make light of Eastern Conference Finals appearances and Finals appearances because they aren't titles. However, um, you know, that's success, and that's why other teams to this day give you their best shot. Like an example, when you face a Minnesota, when you face a, you know, when you face a Boston, when you face a New York Knicks team, when you face a random Portland team, when you face the Pistons, when you face, like, people mock this thought that people get up to play the Miami Heat, but it seems as though every opposing team gets up at a chance to beat the Miami Heat. That's a real thing. And I think that the success they've had over the Jimmy Butler tenure is a big part of that. I mean, on top of the fact that, you know, the Miami Heat have won at a high level and they've done it with grit, and in a manner that can be abrasive, and they let you know about it at every turn, especially a guy like Jimmy Butler. But the other, you know, the rest of the league has had to live with this Miami Heat team out of nowhere, a team that every year, based on the narrative, shouldn't be there, being there. And that's exactly what I believe will happen again this year. Now, I say that because something I've harped on for the last couple of months have been like elements. Like, I see the elements. If those things weren't there or present on the team that they'll need to get that done, then I would feel differently. But we've seen all of that, and we've seen all of that effectively. And even though they don't have quite the record against the better teams in the league, I mean, it's a league with a lot of parity. Yeah, the Western Conference have a bigger gap between the top team and the last team in the playoff race right now. But if you look at the Eastern Conference specifically, where you want to go, you know, this team, you know, is sitting in play-in territory. How are they going to go from play-in out? That's lightning in a bottle. And not to either of y'all, just to the notion of lightning in the bottle. Well, it's like Joel said, they really realistically have a chance to finish in fifth. Now, it probably won't happen because a lot of teams got to lose, but it's a possibility. Even looking at the records, the second team in the Eastern Conference has 49 wins at the Milwaukee Bucks, which is only 5 more wins than the Miami Heat. Yeah, that's a pretty decent size of the season, but it's still only 5 wins. It's like, that's not that many games. So the Miami Heat aren't a bad team. They just picked up bad losses, or bounces of the ball didn't go their way, to the point where now they're the team at the bottom of the totem pole, having to do more work to fight to get in. But even with that, if they handle that business, it's one more game. And if they don't in that one more game, it's 2 more games. In the grand scheme of things, with the way that the playoffs are now, no back-to-backs, people get impressed, travel time being reduced, all of that. If they have to play 2 more games, if 2 more games is the difference between them winning and losing the championship, they were never going to win it in the first place. So, I mean, there's so much that goes into that. But that's just my overall thoughts, because at the end of the day, y'all said everything I feel and everything I've been saying for the last couple of months, and specifically because I've seen those elements, which is Jimmy Butler being capable of showing you that uber aggressiveness and getting his team a win, him understanding the moment, understanding where he's at. And I say understanding the moment because he'll go a couple of games where he's non-aggressive, and it seems like the whole narrative, you know, on social media or even amongst the regular media would be like, why is Jimmy not being aggressive? Jimmy needs to be more aggressive. And he hears that message, and the next game he comes out and he's aggressive. And it's like, you're going to get that all the time in the playoffs. That's just who he is and what he's done. It's like Duncan Robinson has shown you he can still catch fire. Yeah, his whole back situation got to clear up, but we're hoping that by the time the playoffs roll around, that back has loosened up enough and he's gotten in the gym and got up enough looks to be that guy. Like we've seen Terry Rozier explode. I mean, explode in a big way for us and make huge shots in the fourth quarter or late crunch moments of a game to win games. We've seen Kevin Love, even in a loss, in one example against Dallas in the Miami Heat's latest loss on Wednesday night, having amazing game. But not only that, inside of that, have an amazing quarter that actually gives the Miami Heat a chance to come back in that game, though they didn't. Kevin Love's capable of that. I mean, I could go on and on and on, actually, but I mean, Haywood Highsmith, I mean, big play, hey, knocking down shots, playing defense like he does. The elements are there for this Miami Heat team to still be able to do something special. And you have to believe because that's all they've done in the Jimmy Butler tenure, as Alex so elegantly put. You have to believe that when all the chips are in the center of the table, Coach Spo's going to make sure that happens, whether that's in 1 or 2 play-in games.
Exactly. And I mean, overall, bro, it's like everyone's stressed about the Heat. And it's like this, oh, shoot, they're not going to be able to do this. We don't know if Jimmy has it in him to do what he did last year. And I understand the frustrations because obviously Jimmy isn't getting any younger. So I won't be mad at that thought because, if this was a guy in his early 20s, mid 20s, then it'd probably be easy for us to think that he still has it in his tank. But, we're at that time of his career where you can't really take this stuff for granted, which is why I understand. But overall, it's like for this Miami Heat squad, I mean, they have just shown over and over again that they're always going to have this type of resiliency where even if things don't go right, it's like kind of like how it is with a cockroach, right? Or like a bug, you try to kill them and you think it's dead and then like you walk away, but then you don't really do nothing to it. But then when you walk back to the place where you killed that bug and all of a sudden that bug's not there no more, you realize that it was alive this whole time. You didn't actually kill it and it's went off somewhere else and you don't know where, and it kind of scares you because you're probably thinking that bug's trying to get revenge on you or something. That's what the Miami Heat is. Work with me, all right?
I love it. I love it. The Miami Heat are the NBA's cockroach.
Exactly. All right, like when y'all least expect it.
So did you know, like when you step on a cockroach and the goo come out of it, like the guts, did you know that they actually can survive that and heal?
Wow. Well, this is why I spray.
I guess that's what we doing this year. We our goo is out and we are trying to
Wait a
survive.
minute, this is getting crazy. This is getting real crazy. This is getting crazy. Hold on now.
Listen, they ain't pulled out their raid on us just yet, though. They ain't pulled out the raid, so until they do,
brother, you said pulled out after what Alex had just said. I ain't know where we was going.
Yo,
another interesting fact. Did you know that if they dropped a nuclear bomb on us right now, the only thing that would survive is the cockroach.
Exactly. Oh, well, okay.
I mean, so apparently Joe had a few technical issues, but I'm sure he'll be back any minute. That's typically what happens. I guess we start talking about cockroaches and Joe's whole system failed on us, huh?
Yes, man. I'm sorry. I don't think my system was rocking with that, but
it's all good. Continue, brother.
Listen, man, you know what? They get the raid out or whatever, man. But actually don't, because I don't think I've ever seen a roach survive a raid spraying thing. So, but don't pull out the raid unless,
as far as you know.
Yeah, well, I don't know. Maybe we might gotta experiment one of these days. Who knows?
I'd rather not.
Okay. I was curious, but anyways, so overall, man, the Miami Heat, they are those roaches, man. You think they dead, but they still alive and they still causing you a mess, bro. And the only thing you can think of is how you can get rid of these roaches before you got a whole infestation and you gotta call the whole exterminator to come get rid of them. And
I know you're them the roaches, but I want to say this before you move on. You know what? When you got roaches, You be scared to bring somebody to your house, or you be scared to turn your lights on because you know you're gonna catch one running up the wall. Like that's how the Bucks and the Celtics must feel about the Miami Heat.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
They're terrified, man. So it is. I mean, it's really weird that we're having this conversation, paralleling how the Miami Heat are like roaches. But I mean, it's weird, the similarities, man. It's almost eerie.
I
Exactly.
think that should be the name of the pod. Miami Heat roaches of the league.
Oh my gosh, bro. Like, I don't know, man. They gon' with me as the host of this, they gonna think what the hell I've been talking about on here. So I don't know.
Go ahead, bro. Go ahead, bro. Let's
But
let's let's get our decorum back.
But hey, listen, man, they call us the zombies, but we the roaches, all right? Only thing I ask that we don't get no exterminator to come take us out. Cause last year they called on Jokic's little what's it called? Exterminating company, and they unfortunately was able to tent us and got rid of us just like that. But this year it ain't gonna be like it. We gonna infest the whole house and we gonna get the championship, all right? All of that being said, though, it's safe to say that we ain't giving up on the squad just yet. And I do want to look into this playing thing, right? Because there is potential scenarios for the Heat. Maybe we don't be in the play-in, maybe we will be. I just want to know for you guys, how do you imagine things going for the Heat, depending on the outcome? So I'm gonna start off with you, Alex. How do you see things going for Miami? And I mean, I
Oh, I'm
think
sorry.
though.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Dwayne Wade just mentioned me in his story. Oh shoot.
Oh my gosh.
Yo, he just reposted something that I posted on my story. Oh my God, that's crazy.
Oh my.
Racing right now.
Yo, bro. We having good stuff
Oh
happening right now.
Breaking
shoot.
news. Breaking news. It's
Oh my
karma.
God.
It's karma. Take a minute, Alex, to get yourself
Hey,
together.
we winning the chip. I don't care.
I'll speak.
I'm
I'll speak.
back.
Alright, so we gonna so while Alex get himself together, I'm gonna ask you this question. so what
Um,
so what do you look at, with the Heat potentially being in the plan, or if they was to finish above that 7th seed?
the first thing I'm gonna say is I explicitly remember you in the pre-pod gathering saying we weren't gonna talk about this.
At this
But
point, yeah, why not?
I'm gonna answer your question. I just want to let the world know that I be listening and I be prepared. But at the same time, when you know what I'm saying, I just got to make sure we're on the same page. All right. With that being said, look, man, I think I said my take earlier. Look, whether they had to play one extra game or two extra games, it's two extra games, bro. If that's the difference between them winning a title, their chances really weren't good in the first place. And when you look at the standings, I'm thinking more than likely that first game's gonna be against a team like Philly.
Right.
And you know how I feel about that Philadelphia matchup. I feel like that Philadelphia matchup is one that the Miami Heat will be able to take advantage of because you know exactly how they're gonna attack you, and all you have to do, I know it sounds simple, I don't want to say all, but all you have to do is pack that paint and make Maxey make all them jump shots again, and trust that him and Joel are gonna keep being able to do that. Because I think in a playoff setting, as I always say about the Celtics, if you're relying on that jump shot too much, it's going to come back to bite you eventually. I mean, the Miami Heat have been a victim of that. So at some point, the numbers have to work in the other way. Let's just say they were to lose that game against Philly. I don't think they would, but Lord forbid, let's say they lose that game against Philly. You got Chicago and ATL firmly sitting in the next two slots. They're going to battle it out for the chance to get to play the second play-in game to possibly land a slide in the playoffs. If I look at Chicago and ATL, with Trae Young being back into the mix, I'm taking Chicago. And with that being said, I think we'll pulverize Chicago in a win or go home situation. Not that we pulverized them last year, but I think that it'll be a similar result in that the Miami Heat got the win. But I don't think it'll get to that because I can see the Miami Heat knocking off the Sixers in the first game of the play-in.
Right.
And that would be perfect. And that would be perfect. Not to cut you off because then they'll play a Milwaukee team that probably won't have Giannis. Go ahead.
Like, so I was about to say, like, that would be poetic because it seemed like if you go to the play-in, it's like you gonna get shades of what happened last year. Because it's like, God forbid it, and I'll knock on wood for this, but if you lose to Philly, it's like you're playing Chicago in the final playing game again, and you know how that went last year. So I'm down with that. And then if you do beat Philadelphia, or right. We played Milwaukee. They're the 2 seed. I don't know because I know like now New York is in the mix up there. So, yeah, I think Milwaukee's the 2 seed.
Well, Milwaukee's the 2 seed, and New York is sitting 2 back of Milwaukee. Now, Milwaukee does close with the Bucks and the Thunder, so that's something to keep an eye on. I mean, I'm sorry, Milwaukee does close with the Thunder and the Magic, so that's something to keep an eye on. I mean, you can clearly see them splitting that, or you can see them losing both of those games, especially without Giannis Antetokounmpo in the lineup. However, the Knicks have the Celtics tonight, which they could win. And they close with the Nets and the Bulls, which should be 2 wins for them. But here's the thing. Sitting 2 games back, there's a good chance they're going to lose the game tonight. So if they win tonight, then they're going to be the 2 seed. Right. And I think that I don't know if they're going to win tonight, though. Mm-hmm. And that would be the thing that questioned me. That would be the thing I question about that whole seeding process. But here's the beautiful thing about it. Whether it's the Knicks or the Bucks, I'm taking the Heat.
Oh, yeah, 100%. I mean, right now, especially with New York, the injury problems that's been going on there. I mean, is there any word on OG's return? Or OG will be back, but like
he's been in the lineup the last couple of games.
Oh, okay. So I don't think he's been 100%, has he? Or
I don't know. Somebody better tell Tom Thibodeau that, because I'm just making sure that my research is correct. I believe, yeah. So he came back on April the 5th. And in that game, he played a total of 29 minutes. In the game on April the 7th against Milwaukee, he played a grand total of 38 minutes. In the game the other night against Chicago, on April the 9th, he played a grand total of 35 minutes. So if he isn't healthy, somebody better tell Tibbs that.
Listen, man, that's one thing I gotta love about Tibbs, you know. And listen, it's that whole thing with Julius Randle, bro. Everyone coming after Jaime. Mind you, it was like what, a 17-point game or something like that. Was it 17-point game against the Heat when he got injured?
They were up 16, 17 points. They were up big.
And listen, 4 minutes left. He was still in the game, but people mad at Jaime though for wanting to just simply draw a charge, bro. But it is what it is, man. I don't got the type of capacity to be arguing with them fans over offensive fouls and how drawing charges makes you a dirty player. So do whatever pleases y'all, Knicks fans. I don't care. You know, if y'all think Jaime a dirty player, he is. Okay, I do whatever makes y'all happy. But, you know, now as we all know, they are without Julius Randle too, so you got the issue with that. And it's not even that, but like you mentioned with the fact that all of these guys are playing long minutes, you know. Josh Hart especially. Like, I've been seeing the minutes bro's been playing, man. I ain't going to wish injury on a player, bro. I mean, I'm still pissed about last year and what he did to Jimmy, but Thibs clearly remembers it too, and is trying to turn that man's knees, his tendons, into, you know, grilled chicken. So I ain't got nothing more to say about that. But overall, I'm definitely for a Heat Knicks.
Hold on, man. I'm sorry. I gotta note it. If you go back to, let's just go back. I mean, we could. Okay, let's just go back to February 22nd, bro. 44, 41, 41, 40, 47, 45, 43, 42, 43, 39, 41, 38, 48, 35, 44, 39, 34, 41, 45, 45, 43. Now, he did only play 11 minutes against Chicago the other night, but he probably hurt something, which made Tibbs a little upset.
Jeez, this is Josh Hart, correct?
This is Josh Hart, but he played 37 minutes in the following game and 46 minutes in the following game. And I probably in his last game, and I probably was a little bit generous because there were probably some games where the minute count, the second count was closer to being another whole minute, and it wasn't.
Right.
But yeah, he's gonna kill him. His legs are gonna be chopped liver.
Mm-hmm. That's the thing, man. Shout out to you, Thibs, because if what's it called? If our team acting up, at least we know we can count on you to get the very worst out your players like this. So thank God the Knicks was dumb enough to hire you in the first place. But Alex, I'm assuming you chilled out, so I want to know, what do you expect this whole situation to be for Miami? If they're to be in the play-in, or if they were to some way somehow not make it there, if they were to make it into a seed above 7.
So yes, I have chilled out. Thank you to D Wade for reposting from my story. But I honestly think that it's up against the wall for us to end up out of the play-in. Do I hope we end up out of the play-in? Yes. We could use that week of rest. We could use guys being able to practice, because as you guys know, like in the league nowadays, teams don't practice as much as they used to. So I feel like our guys could use that rest. Our guys could use a few days of practice to gel, so we could have our front office and our front office, our coaching staff could have more days to prepare for whoever we'd be playing in the playoffs. But I mean, if you're in the play-in, then you got steps to take to get to that point, and it'll you don't have as much time to be prepared. So whatever, like I said, obviously whatever would give us the most time to be prepared, that's what I'm hoping for. But the losses that we had over the past week to a Philadelphia when they came to Miami, or to a um, Pacers team, those took the ball out of our court. Like, now we got to wait for other teams to basically mess up what they got going on for us to get where we want to go. So, like I said, I'm hoping it'll all work out. But if it doesn't work out, then we'll just have to figure it out from there. And it looks as if Joel is okay. He's back.
Yes, sir. I'm sorry. Oh, did you just wrap up, Alex? My bad.
He did. He was
Yeah, you
segueing
good.
into your absence, brother.
Yeah.
Got you. All right. So my bad, y'all. If my thing could just please stay together at least till the end of this. But overall, man, y'all brought up some good points. And I'm going to say this, though. I'll be talking hoops, not only with you guys, but to my friends, too. And I always think about a point that one of my friends made last year when it seemed like we was about to go into the play-in. And it's the fact that one thing about this Miami Heat team is that I think being in the plane can just light a fire under them, because I think we can all argue that's basically how it went when they had to play Chicago last year, correct? Because I think just them being in that situation against them, because remember, that was a dogfight too, low key, bro. Like, you go back to that game, we was down by a certain amount of points late in that.
Right. And Max Strus hit a couple big shots to bust it open and give the Heat momentum, definitely.
Yeah.
And they rode that momentum all the way to the finals. I agree.
Exactly. So if you can use that momentum to your favor, I think it could work well for Miami, because they found a way to do that, and then they won game 1 against Milwaukee. And then some people thought that momentum might have died when we lost that game 2 in the fashion that we did, getting blown out. But nah, Miami punched them right back, and they won 3 straight games to finish the series. So overall, man, like, that's why the plane is not the end of the world as what people make it seem as it might look like. So I'm gonna say this one more time for all y'all listening. Please take a deep breath. Just because we might have to go back to the plan, at least as of right now, it doesn't mean that we gotta trade Jimmy. It doesn't mean that we gotta trade the whole team away and rebuild the team, bro. We still got a long way to go. It's not over until we actually end up booking our tickets to Cancun, and we ain't done it just yet. All right. So with that all being said, man, I really have nothing more to say. I want to go into these final 2 games against Toronto, because we're finally near the end of the regular season, and I'm gonna just say it, bro. These two games gonna be something else, cause these Raptors, bro. And I was telling this to Kay on the phone earlier, bro. They pissed me off, man. I say they pissed me off because this is a team that just goes off against Miami for no reason. Like they've been rebuilding this year, and yet you would swear that they'd be competing for a playoff spot the way how they go against Miami. And I'm talking about that game just like what 1 or 2 months ago, where the same day they go and they traded this dude Pascal Siakam. They didn't even officially acquire Bruce Brown yet, meaning that he wasn't even on the squad for them yet. But yet, despite all of that, they still blew us out by like
And Jonte Porter took his over that day because he played ball against us. I mean, he must have took his over that day. He
yeah.
must
Well,
have.
that's why he getting banned from the league. And hopefully the same thing goes for his brother too. Anyways, all of that being said, man, I just need Miami to come out swinging, all right? Do what y'all did to Portland against this team and blow them out by 60, all right? I don't care if they're not a playoff team. I want y'all to bend these folks over and give it to them. I'm sorry. I'm pissed off. I'm
Yo.
stressed out with these folks, all right? Beat these two down senselessly and let's go into whatever. I don't know what it's going to be like because obviously you guys see what these other teams do. If they win, if they lose, whatever. Win these two games and let's go from there. Whether if it's going into the play-in against whoever or ends up getting that 7 or 8 seed or going into that 3-6 matchup against whoever is that 3 seed. Just take care of business and beat these bombs respectfully. Alex, I'm gonna pass the mic to you. What's your expectations for these two games?
Um, my expectation is that the last, well, on what we play Friday. So Friday, my expectation is that everybody who is available and able to play will play. Hopefully, we, like you said, we can go out there, um, just take care of business, man. Just get the win, and then for Sunday's game, I expect them to sit guys like a Bam or a Jimmy for those guys to rest and hopefully give people like Jaime an opportunity to find a rhythm. Hopefully, let Caleb get a little bit more run so he can find a rhythm, find his shot again. Let Jovic get a few more ball handling reps and shoot. I mean, honestly, what Tyler has been out for so long, so he's going to need to play a decent amount that game just to continue to
I
get
don't know,
game
Alex.
reps.
I don't know. You know, hey, you know that boy come. You know that boy step out the butts ready to let it go. He not shy.
Well, shoot, he could definitely take care. He could definitely get up however many shots. I say like maybe hopefully take care of business and maybe limit him to 20 something minutes if that. But I feel like these are two opportunities for I think like Spo said for us to get on track. So take Friday, have everybody play your normal rotation with everybody who's available, and then Sunday also take care of business and get some guys some rhythm before heading into the playoffs and not the play-in, hopefully.
I agree. And Kay, how about you?
I agree with Alex completely. I would say my only tweak would be this: if they have a chance to attain a higher seed that's outside of the play-in based on the records or how teams have won or lost up until Sunday, because if you'll notice, all the games on Sunday are either at 1 o'clock or 3 o'clock to try to keep everything uniform, even though they had later window of games. Those games will start before the first games end. So nobody will know, you know what I mean? Like you won't have a chance to, you know what I mean? Strategize based on, your seating if you're in a race with a particular team. But if the Miami Heat have a chance to not be in the play-in, I think they'll definitely play all of the guys in both games. But with this Miami Heat team and just it being the end of the season, I think they still win both games, even if they don't play their main guys on Sunday.
Right. Overall, man, it's like
Not that I'm sorry, one more thing. And back to that point overall, Joel, I think you mentioned it. The Toronto Raptors can be pesky just like every other team. Because as I mentioned earlier, teams get up to play the Miami Heat. Just another example. That's all.
exactly. I mean, we talked about this. I mean, with this team, it's like these are the Eastern Conference champions, and y'all can say whatever you want. Oh well, the Heat should still find a way to win. Blah blah blah. I get it. It's frustrating to see them lose, but overall, man, for this squad, I think they're just getting the very best punches thrown at them by these teams. And you said it yourself, Kay. Like these teams, when they see the Miami Heat, they circle that schedule on their calendar and they're ready to go. That's why we see it. We see some of the best punches thrown by these teams against Miami. A huge example of this was that game against New Orleans. Y'all really think New Orleans that good of a team? No. They heard Jimmy make those comments about how we're the better team, and we are, by the way. Don't get it twisted. So they took that personally to the point where they were willing to go out there and act like they were actually a good team. That's why CJ acted like he was a good player, even though literally him being a bum was the reason why the Trailblazers chose to pass on him when all they were trying to do was get Dame some help. But they saw how much of a bum he was and was like, nah, we better off trading or to like New Orleans or wherever instead of keeping you on for Dame. So you got something like that going on. And then you got this whole situation with this Najee Marshall dude. I don't even know how much minutes that dude even played against the Heat. But he immediately hopped on Twitter later on talking about, oh, I ain't heard what Jimmy said. Man, you heard exactly what he said, all right? Stop hiding behind your brothers and stuff. And why don't you show your face and actually say them comments and stuff? Because the last time I checked, you wasn't the one hooping for him. All of that being said, though, I don't care about none of it.
I think
Because
you need to put the swear banner up at 41-18, first of all. Second
listen,
of all, I wanted to add something to what you said, but I think I forgot it once you said what you said. Like I know what it was. To that point, really quick before we move on, if you look at teams in the division, like team always wonder why teams like Charlotte or Washington give the Miami Heat fits. Yes, that's that divisional thing, that familiarity thing. It's because no matter how the Wizards or the Hornets are in any given year, they know that they have a chance to play a meaningful game, a hard fought game whenever they play the Miami Heat. It just goes that way. I mean, you look at the Wizards knocking the Miami Heat off a couple of weeks ago, unfortunately.
yo. And I mean, when was the last time? Because we've been the much better team these last few years. Say whatever you want about this year with the way we've been, but the last few years, when was the last time we actually swept like the whole? Because to be honest, the whole Southeast Division is kind of trash. When you look at our competition there. But yeah, it's not often when we sweep all four of those teams. I mean, Atlanta's been okay. So if we don't sweep them, it's not exactly a big deal. But you would think we'd sweep Washington every year, right? You would think we'd sweep Charlotte every year, but no. Last year, I think we tied the season series 2 games apiece. Because I know we lost a couple games against them because I think I still got a few bald spots on my hair from those games when I pulled my hair out because I didn't know we was going to be capable of doing what we did come postseason time. So that's when I was really thinking we were screwed at the moment. But we lost some games against them too. You look back at that. Let's see who else in the division. Oh, well, I don't know. Did we lose any games to Orlando last year, or I don't know. But we've lost some games here and there too. KU on mute, by the way.
Is Orlando in the division?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I know how sometimes they do that thing funny, like maybe that's different sports though. I'm tripping. Hold on. I'm gonna look at the split. Y'all go ahead.
But yeah, overall, man, it's like we said it. Teams are gonna give Miami their best punch, and I know it's frustrating, but it's gone to a point where I gotta like get off Twitter after every L because some of y'all be depressing me, man. It's like I can't get on there after an L without y'all talking about should the Heat rebuild the team? I can't even watch some of y'all's podcasts now, man. Like, I was trying to watch a pod because I was bored and there wasn't much Heat content up one of these days. And like I saw the description like I normally do for some of these pods, and I saw that at some point they were gonna talk if the Heat should rebuild this team, and I had to get out the video ASAP because we was not finna talk about this. Like, I don't care if y'all was gonna say that they wasn't gonna rebuild. I just did not want that to be the discussion because that's like when someone is like sick or whatever, and then you're like, oh my gosh, is this person gonna survive or are they going to, pass on? And it's like, I don't want to hear none of this stuff, bro. Like, I'm still gonna keep my high hopes and stuff that God's gonna come up with the best answer. I don't need you to be answering whether or not they gonna make it through. And that's kind of the same thing with the Heat. I don't need y'all to be telling me if they gonna make it or not. I understand we all frustrated right now. I've been, especially after last night. There was a lot of gut punches thrown during that L. But you know what? Let's at least wait until the final nail has been put into that coffin. Until then, I'm going to believe in the squad. And that's really all I got to say. Is there anything else y'all want to mention before we close this pod out? 3, 2,
It's still Heat in 5.
amen.
Absolutely, I agree. I was waiting to let him, let Alex get some words in because I know we've been talking a lot while he was, let's say, basking in the glow of that D Wade mentioned. But if you look at last year's Heat against the Southeast Division, they were 10 up, 6 down across 16 games, 3-1 against Atlanta last year. They were 3-1 against Orlando last year, split with the Wizards at 2-2, and also, as you mentioned, Joel, split with the Hornets at 2-2. So it's just one of those things, man. It's nothing new. If you follow the Heat, yes, you want the Miami Heat to win more games, win more of these close games, pull out more of these regular season tight knit victories, but you just understand the flow and the nuance of how these things go, not only from the Miami Heat perspective, but from the way that other teams look at them. Because like I said, you can't tell me that the way the Pistons always play the Miami Heat, the way the Trailblazers always, like the way these teams that shouldn't have a chance play above their head when the Heat come in their building, is something to that. You can't tell me that because they don't give the same effort to other teams. There's a reason why games are always as muddy as they are, and it isn't always because of the Miami Heat's inability to create offense and get good shots off. Sometimes guys are playing as good as they've played on one side of the ball or other. And, if you watch hoops, or not necessarily, I'm not saying this is holding it out. Like, I watch more ball than you. I'm just saying, watch the games and watch them in some of their other games, and you can see it.
Mm-hmm. Overall, man, just take a deep breath, Heat fans. Just go outside, do whatever makes y'all happy. I don't know what it is, bro, but do whatever it is, bro, because we gonna be fine, man.
Roll up.
I'm
sorry, that won't want the time for my bad. Go ahead.
Well, I don't know. Whatever makes y'all happy. If it's legal in y'all states, go ahead and do it. I didn't want to say it specifically because of that, because I didn't want to make it seem like I was trying to get any of y'all arrested, because I know it ain't legal.
My bad. I forgot a lot of people are in Florida. I live in Virginia, guys.
Yeah, so if it's legal, go ahead and do whatever you want to do. If not, well then, y'all probably would still do it anyways, so oh well. Overall, man, just let's take a deep breath and let's get ready for these final 2 games. Playing or no playing, the Miami Heat are gonna be just fine. Let's go get ready for this. And like y'all see below my name, bro, I've had this since the beginning of the season, and I'm standing on business with it to this day. Heat winning the 2024 championship, I don't care. But I mean, that's basically it. So with that all being said, man, thank y'all so much for tuning in to today's episode of Heat vs. the World. Make sure to follow me on Twitter at JoelKJacob_, K at K_said_K. Make sure to follow Alex at _CoachLewis1. Make sure to follow Heat vs. World on all platforms at HVTW Podcast. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Make sure to check us out on all platforms, man. We got so much content heading y'all way. More Heat vs. the World, more Biscayne breakdown, Dolphins versus the World will be coming back soon, so be on the lookout. We should hopefully be dropping some content real soon from our Panthers side of stuff once the Stanley Cup playoffs start very soon. So be on the lookout for that, hockey fans, and just stick around, man, because we got a lot of fun stuff heading our way. But aside from that, man, like I said before, take a deep breath because we getting there. Jimmy, like they be saying, take us there 22. He's going to do just that. And aside from that, man, hit my music because we out.
Behind my back.
Thank you for listening, and we'll see you next time with a brand new episode of the Heat versus the World podcast.